There is a curse woven into the fabric of America, a dark folklore that hides in every deserted highway and every silent home. These are stories that have been told and retold for so long that the line between legend and truth has completely vanished. But every legend is born from a real seed of fear. Tonight, the Chilling Channel revisits 3 pillars of American horror, adapted from accounts that have shaped the fears of generations. These are tales of strangers, of youth's vulnerability, and of what happens when fate or something worse knocks on your door. Let's uncover the terrifying and disturbing truth that hides behind the myth. Story 1. The Hookman. This story is not just an urban legend. It is a clear, cold warning about the price of ignoring imminent danger. It begins on a damp night, decades ago, on a road winding through the American South. A young couple, Mike and Betty, were out on a date in his car. The music was loud, the windows were fogged, the perfect setup for a cliché romance. But the radio interrupted the music with an urgent bulletin. A dangerous serial killer has escaped from an institution. The suspect is known to have a prosthetic hook instead of one hand. He is believed to be in the rural area. Mike scoffed, turning the radio off. Nonsense. It's just to scare people. Let's get back to what matters. Betty, however, was terrified. She insisted he drive her home immediately. The tension in the car grew. Mike, annoyed by the interruption, slammed on the brakes right in front of her house. He snapped, "You think I'm scared of some maniac with a hook? I proved there's nothing here. Get out of the car." Betty was so upset she yanked the door open and jumped out, slamming it shut. Mike, fuming, sped off, leaving his angry girlfriend alone on the porch. The moment Mike rounded the corner, he glanced in his rearview mirror and saw Betty frozen on the porch. She wasn't scared of the dark. She was staring at his car. He slammed on the brakes again, got out, and ran back toward her. "What's the problem now, Betty?" She couldn't speak. She just pointed a shaking finger at the passenger door of his car. Mike spun around, and there it was. Hanging from the door handle, right above Betty's head, was a metal hook. It was deeply gouged into the metal of the door. The Hookman had been there. The only reason Mike and Betty were alive was because he sped off, and the hook, snagged on the handle, tore away from the killer as he tried to pull the door open. The couple called the police. The killer was never found, but that hook remained a cold, physical, terrifying piece of evidence that sometimes the biggest mistake is not going to a dangerous place, but ignoring the warning the darkness gives you. Story 2. The Babysitter and the Man Upstairs. This is a story about pure vulnerability. It's the fear of being a target in the one place you should feel safe. The story starts with a 16-year-old babysitter, Jenny, on a Friday night. The parents were out for dinner, and she was alone in the house watching television while the child slept soundly upstairs. The phone rang. Jenny answered. On the other end, a low, guttural voice asked, "Have you checked the children?" Jenny immediately hung up, thinking it was a prank call. A minute later, the phone rang again. The same voice, the same question. "Have you checked the children?" This time, a chill ran down Jenny's spine. She called the police. They told her, "Ma'am, if he calls again, try to keep him on the line for at least 60 seconds. That gives us time to trace the call." The phone rang for the 3rd time. Jenny took a deep breath and answered. The voice asked, "Why won't you check the children?" Jenny, her voice trembling, tried to prolong the conversation. "Who is this? Why are you calling me? What do you want?" The man just chuckled, a low, dry laugh, and repeated, "You should check the children. I want you to check." At that moment, an urgent, shouting voice yelled in the background of the line. It was the police officer tracing the call. "Get out of the house now! Get out of the house now! The call is coming from inside the house. He is upstairs." Jenny dropped the phone and bolted out the front door. The police arrived within minutes. The man had fled. But the most terrifying thing the officers found was the muddy footprints of an adult man right next to the sleeping child's crib. The legend states the man, the terror upstairs, was never caught. But the fear he planted, the fear that danger is already inside when you are alone, is a terrifying truth that continues to haunt us. Story 3. The Vanishing Hitchhiker. Our final story is the quintessential American urban legend. It is the story of the road. It is a chilling reminder that not everyone we pick up on the side of the highway is made of flesh and blood. A young man named David was driving home late one night. The rain was heavy on the desolate highway. He saw a solitary figure on the side of the road. A girl, maybe 19 or 20, dressed in a soaked party dress, huddled in the rain. David, feeling sorry for her, pulled over and invited her in. The girl, Maria, was pale and cold. She said she was coming home from a party and that her parents lived just a few miles down the road. The address was on Oakwood Hill. As they drove, David tried to make conversation, but Maria replied only in single words. The silence in the car was thick. She seemed sad, lost. Finally, David reached the street for Oakwood Hill and asked, "Which house, Maria?" He looked to the passenger seat, and the seat was empty. The car was locked, the windows rolled up. Maria had completely vanished from the moving car. David, shaking, drove up to what he thought was the correct house address. He pounded on the door. An older man with a tired face answered. David, stammering, told him what had happened, that he had picked up a girl named Maria, that she had vanished, and that she had given him this address. The man simply looked at David with profound sadness. "Son," he said, his voice husky, "this isn't the first time. My daughter Maria died in a car crash on that road exactly 1 year ago today, coming home from a party. She never made it home." He invited David inside, and in the living room above a fireplace was an old dusty photograph. It was Maria, the girl who had disappeared from his passenger seat. Are you willing to drive alone on a lonely road at night? Because the legend of the Vanishing Hitchhiker proves that for some souls, the journey never ends, and they are still trying to go home. The chilling reality is that terror doesn't always need to be invented. Sometimes you just need to look at the stories that survive the test of time. They endure because they touch on universal fears and truths we cannot deny. Thank you for joining us on the Chilling Channel. Until next time, don't ignore the warnings and please always check your back seat.